And we're live on Instagram. Hey, let's wait for some people to show up. Boom, boom, boom. Wow, wow, wow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. Da, da, da. Wow, wow, wow. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? I figured I'd go live for a little bit on the Instablams to say hello. I just drank a cup of coffee and I'm feeling great, as you can see. Oh yeah! Hey, how's it going, everybody? I want to do a little Q&A on here. You guys have any questions? I'm here to answer any questions you may have about anything. When I say anything, I mean anything. What the heck is this filter even supposed to be? Am I a snail or something? I don't know, but I like it. I like it a lot. Hey everybody, I just went live on Instagram because we can do anything we want and there's no rules in life. Actually, there's a lot of rules in life, I'm just kidding. But, oh, here we go, first question. Coming from Darren, boom, boom. What is one part of travel you miss the most? People. I am currently in legit self-isolation. Should I take this off? Hold on. How do I take this effect off? I don't even know. There we go. Woo! Yeah, what's one part of travel I miss the most? People. Just meeting people, the fun conversations you get into when you're traveling, just the engagement of other people. I'm missing it, but it'll come back soon. Boom. Got another question from Like Basilowicz. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I see your name all the time as you're pretty active on my Instagram. So, hey, Steve, what is your next trip after quarantine? This is it. I don't know. I don't know anyone who travels frequently that actually has anything planned next, because we don't know when this will be okay to travel again. And yeah, I don't know when or where I'll be able to go next, but I'm thinking realistically I might be able to escape somewhere, not necessarily travel in the style of backpacking that I do frequently, but maybe something where I can find a place to rent on a beach somewhere. That sounds nice, right? Kind of stay isolated somewhere cool. But I don't know where I'm going next. Some of my top places I want to go if I could travel. Number one on the list right now is Pakistan. I am super interested in going to Pakistan. I've been seeing videos from other travelers who've been there, and just especially up north, the mountains in Pakistan. If you don't know what northern Pakistan looks like, Google north. Actually, don't even Google it. Just wait till I go there and I'll show you. No, I'm just kidding. Google northern Pakistan, and I didn't know what that looked like, but I am blown away like this. Blown away with the views and how nice it looks. And it seems like people are just super friendly, and it's a little less traveled. So I kind of envision it to be one of those places where people appreciate travelers. And when foreigners come, locals like to talk to foreigners. So I want to check it out. It seems like a cool place to travel. I really want to travel all through Central America. Like start in Mexico and then just go down and take my time doing it. But like I said, I don't think this summer will be okay to travel like that, at least in the style that I like to travel, where I don't really plan much and just go. I think the next trip I'll do will probably have to be pretty structured and planned, which is okay, but we'll see. And I know I keep saying this, but I really want to organize some type of group adventure where I can invite you, anyone interested in coming. I really want to organize my own trip and bring people with me and make a video about that, or not even just for the video, just for the experience of traveling with like-minded people, you know? All right, sorry, I've been slacking on these questions. I'm scrolling down. What's up? Jude Mendez said, my brother met you in Colombia. Cool. What's your brother's name? That's awesome. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Colombia. Gani says, hello. What's up, dude? How's it going? People joining, people saying hi. Sam Gilman up in here. What's up, girl? High school friends. Fabi Travels. Hey, I met you. I met her in Portugal. In Lisbon? Was it Lisbon? Yeah, Lisbon. It's my Polish name. I like your Polish name. My brother, met you from... What's up, everybody? Mr. Trapsum up in here, too. What's up? All right, we got a question right here. I'm going to click on this. Boom. First question. Can I meet up with you, bro? Sure. Why not? It depends on where I am and what I'm doing. But that's what I just said. I want to organize some type of group adventure. That'd be cool. What's next? Next question. When did you start travel blogging? Well, technically, I'm a vlogging traveler, but I do have a blog. Anyway, I started full-time travel in April of 2017, so just over 3 years. And yeah, I celebrated my 3-year travel anniversary in quarantine. Kind of ironic because I wasn't traveling, but yeah, it's been 3 years since I've been doing this full time. And in the beginning, I didn't have any social media following. I didn't have anything to show for it. I was just super passionate and dedicated to doing this. And I wouldn't say I've reached success or anything. I'm still constantly trying to grow and learn more. But yeah, it's been 3 years now, which is crazy. You got any more questions? You guys can, if you want to ask questions, I think there's a little question button that you can submit a question direct to me, and I get a little notification that pops up, and then your question gets highlighted right on the screen so everyone can see it. We can all be friends. We can hang out together. We're hanging out together. Hold on, I'm scrolling up because I missed a bunch of comments and questions. Travis, I'm up in here. Good to see you, brother. I'll join you to Pakistan. I have a friend. See, this is what I'm talking about. You start putting your ideas out there in the universe, and the puzzle pieces just start fitting together. I love it. Cool. So I'm going to prioritize these questions because we got some more popping in here. I love you, Steve. Can you follow my page? Bold question. I love it. Sure, I'll follow you after this is over. Next question. Do you ever go back home or just country to country? I'm currently in my home country. I'm not at home where I grew up, but yeah, I go back home. It's like I said, I've been traveling for 3 years, but I typically go home for the holidays around the end of December. So I typically spend at least a month at home in December and January, and I might go home soon too. I don't know what's going to happen, guys. I don't know what's freaking going to happen out here. All right, boom. Jude Mendez, straight up, how do you make money? I love when people ask me this question. Imagine, it's funny because I used to have an ongoing joke with the traveling clap, because as we were traveling, especially around Europe, this summer when we were traveling around Europe, we would meet people because we were staying in hostels, and we would start telling them what we were doing because they would ask, that's just a common question. Oh, what are you doing here? How long are you traveling for? The typical traveler questions. And then when we start telling them stuff about what we do, like, oh, we travel full time and we make videos. And then almost everyone's immediate question is just, how do you make money? Which is so funny because in any other profession, if you were to just ask someone like, and not even how do you make, but more is like, oh, how much money do you make? Usually the question is like, what do you do? Oh, we're travel vloggers. Oh, you make money doing that? That's your job? That's like the question we get. Like, oh, that's your real job? How much money do you make? And people just straight up ask us how much money we make, which is funny because if you were to ask anyone with a traditional job, just how much money do you make? I feel like that'd be such a stigmatized question, but we're pretty open with it. And how do I make money? I try to make money in a bunch of different ways. So obviously I make videos that are shared on YouTube. For every video that's played, an advertisement will be shown, right? Either before or during it. So depending on who's watching that and what country it's coming from, the advertiser will have to pay money to show that, right? So I get a little kickback from that. So YouTube ad revenue, private sponsorships, which I've been doing a little bit more, affiliate links. I do freelance content creation as well. So brands hire me to create videos and photos for them as well. And yeah, a few other things, but mostly just by using my camera, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, it's definitely growing more now, but when I first started, I was not making any money doing this, but I was super determined to make it happen. So that's why I always advocate following your passions, right? Do something you love and you'd be able to work really hard at it. Or do something you love and you never have to work a day in your life. That old saying. Which, I mean, I definitely work. It's not like I never have to work, but at least I enjoy the outcome of what my work is. Damn, Jude, popping in with all these questions. What's your home country? The United States of America. Thank you very much. Boom, question. Did you graduate for college or university before starting your travel journey? No. I was very close. As you may see, oh no, I'm not wearing that shirt, but I tend to rep the UCF logo a lot because I did attend university at the University of Central Florida in Orlando. And I almost finished, but I didn't. I was actually about one semester away from graduating. And, well, not one semester, one full-time semester, which I wasn't. So, break it down for you, right? So, when I was born, when I was a little lad, no, not that far. So I did 2 years of college at a local community college in New York, because that's where I'm from, on Long Island. And then I transferred to the University of Central Florida, where I studied advertising and public relations. And I was getting more involved with the professional side of things. When I say professional, I mean corporate, right? The corporate marketing world. So I ended up getting a few internships, and the last internship I had was for an influencer marketing company. And I was responsible I was on a sales team. So one of my main roles was to reach out to brands and try to sell them our marketing strategies, right? And our marketing strategies was collecting a group of influencers and running large campaigns that maybe a brand may not be able to facilitate in-house. So I learned a lot about the influencer marketing industry, and this was just an internship, right? And during this internship, that's when I was applying for this Red Bull Can You Make It challenge, which I've talked about many times in the past, but if you've never heard me yap about this, essentially that was a crazy challenge hosted by Red Bull, where they sent university students from all around the world to travel across Europe for 1 week with no money, right? So this was a crazy challenge that I heard about. I applied for it and I got accepted. And they flew me and two of my really good friends, Misha and Zach, to Florence, Italy, where we had 7 days to travel across. We ended up making it through 6 countries in 7 days. And it was insane. So that experience changed my life. That changed my perspective on everything, and I just wanted to travel more. And by the way, we made it. We freaking made it all the way. We went from Italy, Slovenia, Austria, Germany, Switzerland, and France, ending in Paris. And then we returned to Orlando after an insane week of traveling, just relying on the kindness of strangers to help us out. And yeah, so I returned home to that internship, where that internship offered me a full-time job. And at this time, I was still studying. I was in university, but since they offered me a full-time job, I stopped going to school full-time because why, right? The goal of going to university is to get a job. I was just offered a full-time job. Great, that's the goal, right? Especially with marketing. You don't necessarily need any specific qualifications to do anything, right? Not like with a doctor or a lawyer where you need to be certified. With marketing, it's just experience. So I prioritized experience over a degree, and I started going to school slowly. I only took one class my last semester, and during that I realized I don't want to do any of this anymore. I want to go travel, and I love to make videos. So why don't I do this full time? And then it clicked, and I started planning it more. And I ended up not finishing university. I had about, I think, 12 credits left to get a bachelor's degree. I never finished. And I don't want to finish. I feel like with what I was studying, with advertising and public relations and marketing, I'm getting way more experience now by doing all this with content creation and learning about the analytics of YouTube and influencer marketing, where I think that's way more valuable than a college degree. So if I were to ever want to go back to the corporate world, I'm pretty confident I would be able to find a job, but I don't want to. So now that I don't have that degree, it pushes me to work harder doing this because I don't necessarily have that to fall back on. So, right? Holding myself accountable. Boom! How's that for a friggin' answer for that question? Before I go to these questions being submitted on the question button, I'm just going to scroll my little finger up a little bit and see who's in here and what's everyone saying. Come to Sri Lanka again, my brother, blah, blah, blah. Steve, have you been afraid of the virus and getting it yourself? Of course I've been afraid of it, but you can't let that fear take control, right? I feel like that's what, by the way, that question was from Robert Jaggerings. Yeah, so he asked, have you been afraid of the virus and getting it yourself? Yeah, right? I mean, who isn't? But I'm not going to let that fear take control. I think that's what everyone's just focused on right now. Obviously, the mass media, like news channels, are going to focus on this because it's what everyone is afraid of. So they feed into your fear. They take your fears and they just feed it grass and yummy candy all day long. And you're like, ooh, yeah, give me some more of that. But no, not me. I don't want more of that. Boom. All right, scrolling down some more a little bit. Yeah, can we join Steve for a group travel? Yeah, you can. Group travel coming on up soon. I'm planning a group trip. Well, I haven't really done anything to plan it, but I'm planning it in here, in this really big head of mine. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I'm going to click on this question button again. How old this hair, babe? This hair is... I'm actually thinking about cutting some of it off soon. I might do a live stream where I cut my own hair. Because look at this friggin' thing. Look at this mop on my head. Are you kidding me? This is crazy. It's getting a little out of hand. I think the requirement to donate, I looked up, depending on which organization you donate hair to, it's about 8 to 10 inches. I can cut 10 inches off my hair and still have long hair. So I think I might do that soon because it's just a lot. It's just, look, it's heavy too. You know, it just gets in the way and it, whatever. All right, going back to these questions. I got 9 questions on deck. Boom. Oh, coming from Divert Living. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I can't see myself. Actually, yeah, you can. No, I'm just kidding. In 5 years, I see myself doing something much bigger than just YouTube. I love... Why is the camera making me look like a ghost? There we go. Obviously, I love making videos and using my camera, so I see myself doing more of that, hopefully with a bigger team. I love collaborative environments, and yeah, there's so many different paths, or not necessarily paths, but directions to go with what I'm doing. So I don't know exactly what I'll be doing in 5 years, but I'm excited for it. How's that for an answer, Jimmy or Ta? Silo travel, can we date? No, you're taken, dude. You got a fiance or a bride. Are you guys? Yeah, you guys are officially married. You got a wife. What do you want me? You want to date me? You want me to be a little side hoe? I don't think so. I don't think Rachel will be very happy with that. All right. I'm also not reading these before I click on them. So boom. Matthew Harrington, how long were you doing videos before you actually started making money? Good question. A while. I've been making videos for many years, but it wasn't until... When was the first video I made money from? I don't even remember. I'm trying to think back. Actually, it's funny. I was just talking with my buddy Austin about this the other day. It didn't take me a while before I started making money from videos. On YouTube, maybe, but I was doing private videos before I even posted anything on YouTube. Like I said, I went to the University of Central Florida, and I was trying to hustle. Even right before I left to start traveling, I knew I was going to leave and completely change my life and go big and dive in the deep end and leave. But I was targeting sororities. So if you're not from the United States and you don't know what a sorority is, these are groups. Oh man, how do I explain a sorority? Groups of girls. Just look up what a sorority is. Anyway, they're groups of girls on campus at universities, usually large groups, and they're like families, right? They're sisters for life. So they're big groups of sometimes hundreds of girls, and every semester they have different events, and they usually like to have things filmed. So I remember pitching different sororities, and I was actually making some money making videos for sororities because they have budgets. So I was trying to target things at my level because I was a university student. So what can I work with? And yeah, I was doing that. I was making videos. Oh, another thing I did was a lot of girls who graduate from university, they get photos taken, right? They get grad photos. So they hire a photographer to walk around campus with them, and they pose and they take photos and they get really nice photos to remember their graduation. Well, I like making videos. So I teamed up with my buddy Austin Collins, and we targeted those clients, but we offered videos as well. So it was a unique thing. Like we would take them on a photo shoot, we would give them photos, but we would have a second camera just dedicated to video, and we would charge them double because now they're getting photos and videos. So boom, I was making money with videos before I even started traveling. It's the hustle, guys. You could do it. There's opportunities out there. You just gotta be creative. Let's see. What's your top 3 dream destinations? Like I already mentioned, Pakistan I really want to go to. I really want to visit Costa Rica. And one more, Antarctica. That's an interesting place. A little cold, a little different than what I'm used to, but seems like quite an expedition, if I do say so myself. What do we got up next? Can you tell I just drank coffee? I'm feeling wired. Steve, are you in love? Yes, I am in love. I will admit it. I am in love with someone, and their name is Steve. I'm in love with myself. I think everyone should love themselves. Prioritize yourself, guys. Self-love is very important. It's funny because a lot of people have been messaging me, like family members and stuff, because they know that I'm spending a lot of this time alone. Right, I'm in my brother's apartment, but he has a girlfriend, and he's pretty much living at his girlfriend's house. And while a lot of people have been asking me, like, "Oh my God, you're alone. Are you okay? Do you need someone?" I'm like, no, I'm totally fine. I like myself. I also have a bunch of work to do, so I'm staying busy. But I don't mind hanging out with myself. I'm very social. I love hanging out with other people and spending time with others, but I also like just hanging out with myself. So it's important to prioritize your self-love. Steve is single. That's right. Someone just said, boom, chakalaka. Ever been interested in filmmaking? Yes, that's another avenue I want to explore. Bigger projects, bigger things beside my YouTube. One of the things I keep reminding myself and keep telling people is the fact that everything I'm doing for YouTube I view as practice, right? You need to practice in order to get good at something. And with filmmaking, I'm trying to practice how to use a camera, what it takes to get the shot, and really understand everything about filmmaking. So hell yeah, I'm interested in filmmaking. Oh yeah. What's your favorite place in Sri Lanka? I'm making a video right now called Top 10 Travel Places. I don't even remember what I'm calling it. Top 10 Sri Lanka Travel Destinations. So I'm working on it right now as we speak. The computer is open. Actually, it's locked now, but here, you guys want to see a little preview of it? Nah, you can watch it when it's ready. But that's coming up. Number 1 place is coming in that video, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Can you guys wink with both eyes? Boom, shakalaka. All right, next. Can you sing your favorite song now? Somewhere over the rainbow. That's not my favorite song, but I'm hyped up on caffeine right now, so that's the first thing that came to my head. What's your biggest pet peeve? When people ask me what my biggest pet peeve is. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I feel like those type of questions, I forget until it happens, you know? As soon as that whatever annoys me happens again, I'll remember it and be like, oh, NTLC travels. This is the thing that I don't like. Am I married? Nope. More questions. More questions. Ever been to Australia? For anyone not understanding what that means, Australia, right? But people in Australia tend to shorten things as much as possible. So, Australia. I haven't. I've been thinking about this a lot. A lot, mate. Mate. I can't do an Australian accent. Damn. But I want to. Bad. Like bad or good. I want to good. I want to get there good. I do want to go to Australia really bad. Also New Zealand. And I have never been. One of the reasons is it's a little bit more expensive than some of the other places I tend to go. But now that I'm getting a little bit more established and having more opportunities, I really want to travel around Australia. Australia! Q&A, baby, Q&A. Submit your questions on that Q&A button. Q&A. Oh, look, another one. Oh, I think I'm not, hold on. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, 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 da, ba. Boom. Here we go. Any advice with couch surfing? This is a good question. So, if you are not familiar, couch surfing is a website and mobile app. I'm not getting paid to talk about this. I just like it because I've used couch surfing a lot, and it's a great way to meet and just have interesting experiences when you travel. Also, couch surfing is one word, the brand. Anyway, the whole model, the original model of couch surfing was made for travelers to be hosted by other travelers for free, right? So when you're traveling and looking for a place to stay, you could stay in someone's home and they'll host you for no money, which is pretty interesting. Now, a lot of people ask, why would you do that? Why would you stay with a local? That's creepy. I wouldn't want to do that. Well, it's kind of like a community of travelers, right? There's this level of mutual understanding that when you accept someone into your home, that it's like a give and take type of thing, right? So a lot of people who open their homes to let people stay have also been hosted while they travel. So it's a give and take, give back type of thing. Anyway, any advice? Develop a profile, right? This is something that's important if you want to get accepted, because chances are people won't want to accept you into their homes if you don't have a reputable profile. Now, you can get some good references just by doing things like meetups, where you don't necessarily have to dedicate yourself to staying at someone's home or hosting anyone. You could just hang out with people and leave each other references so you can build a good profile. So when you do apply or send a request to stay at someone's home, they'll actually accept you. Now, I've had some of my best travel experiences from couch surfing, because staying at someone's home and hanging out with them is an experience that you can't even pay for. And if you did pay for it, there are organizations and businesses that set up where you can pay to get a local guide or something, but it's different, right? When you're paying someone, they're doing it for the money, and it's a different dynamic. But when you're not paying for it and someone's doing it out of generosity, then it's such a unique experience because it's authentic, right? It's genuine, and I've had some of the most special experiences, some of the most random and spontaneous adventures from couch surfing hosts who have brought me to their local place to eat or brought me on a cool adventure. So boom, that's enough with this question. I'm feeling bored of that already. Oh yeah, I'm scrolling down these questions. If you guys want to submit a question, click that Q&A tab. Is it expensive to go to Southeast Asia, like for 2 to 3 months? It can be, but it also cannot be. you have the availability for everyone. You know, if you want to stay in a luxury villa in Bali, yeah, it can be expensive. But if you want to stay on the backpacking budget and find a hostel or maybe even a couch surfing host, which can be free, it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be whatever you want. Obviously, Southeast Asia is known for having more of an affordable travel style. So if you have, say, $1,000 a month, you can travel very well, and you could do it for way less than that. I've traveled for a couple $100 a month in Southeast Asia, so it's possible. It is possible. Jake's got another question. Being a traveler, how do you keep sane? As you can tell, I'm not sane. I'm a little insane. No. Now, with this current times, I've been working a lot. I've been editing past videos. I'm working on some travel guides, which are big projects. So I've been keeping busy. That's what's keeping me sane. And doing stuff like this and talking to people. Pa, 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 cha, 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 cha. Question from Chico Imancito. I messed that name up. Chiquimancito says, what do people think in the world when the COVID passes? Will more people travel or stay home? Well, I hope realistically, it's probably going to take some time, right? I don't think anyone who's not used to traveling will just say, now it's time for me to travel. People may be a little skeptical about traveling, but hey, I'm going to travel when things clear up, and it would be cool if people don't travel, because then I'll have places to myself. So everyone stay at home and let me travel. That'll be great. Am I in Sri Lanka right now? No. Wait, got another question. Are you in Sri Lanka now? No. I'm in Florida. Aww. Do you miss your bestest friend, Malcolm? Yes, I do. Malcolm. This is my buddy. I've known Malcolm since I was 5 or 6 years old. You're my bestest friends. And he's got another question. If you could travel to one place with your closest friends, where would that be? Dude, I've been thinking about this. I was actually on the phone with Tom yesterday, and I want to do this. But I think I want to hike a volcano with my group of friends. With Malcolm, with Tom, with Tyler, with Stottle, with Sean Barnes. I want to get Jake out there. Let's get Kyle, like Sean Brennan, everybody. I'm missing people I know, but guys, I want to get my homies, like my hometown crew, to come on an epic expedition with me. Realistically, I think it might be easier just to go somewhere like Colombia, because the flight is not too far. I want that so bad. We're going to make that happen. We're going to make that happen. Once again, if you guys are submitting questions in the regular question place, I'm not keeping up with those, but I'm clicking these. So click the little Q&A button if you want to hear my brain. Would you ever do a North to South Africa trek? A North to South Africa trek? How long would that be? Hell yeah, sure. But what? That sounds insane in the membrane. That would be crazy. I really want to travel Africa. That would be cool. Another question. Do you have pets? Personally, me? No. My parents have pets. My dad and my stepmother, they have a dog. Her name is Wendy, and she's the best dog ever. And my mom, my stepdad, and my sister, they just got a dog named Mia, and I haven't even met her yet. So I feel like I have a sibling now who I don't even know, and I want to go meet her. I have a dog that I don't even know. Oh, look at this question. Have you been hitchhiking and any bad experiences? Yes, I've been hitchhiking. I've been hitchhiking a few times, more toward the beginning of my travels. The first time I ever attempted hitchhiking was in Europe during my Red Bull challenge. Completely failed. Funny story with that. If you guys want that story, I'll tell it. But hold on, let me take a little sip of this Joe. Yeah, that was in Austria. Completely failed at hitchhiking. You know what? This is a fun travel story. Get ready. Here we go. So this is back in 2016 in the Red Bull Can You Make It Challenge. Again, if you weren't here when I explained that before, the Red Bull Challenge was a crazy experience where Red Bull hosted an event where they sent university students from all around the world to travel across Europe for 1 week with no money. And I did it. But halfway through, I was in Austria with my teammates, Misha and Zach, right? So the three of us were in Austria. To give a little backstory, we were leaving Slovenia on a train. We were taking the train to Austria somewhere, and we didn't have any money, so we didn't have any train tickets, but we just got on the train. And when the train ticket collector came around to ask us for tickets, we tried to convince him to let us stay on the train by just giving him cans of Red Bull, because that was the only thing we had to use as currency, and he respectfully declined and demanded we get off of his train, which I understand. He did it in a nice way. So we did. We got off the train, and when we got off, our plan was say, you know what, it's okay. We've done this a few times before. We'll just get on the next train and keep going in the same direction. So where we got off was the middle of nowhere, Austria. The name of the town was Spital. I'll never forget this friggin' little town in Austria. So we get off the train and we look at the schedule thinking, we'll just get the next train. And it's about 5 p.m. We look at the schedule. The schedule for the train says the next train going in the direction that we want to go is not until 2:30 in the morning. What? It's 5 p.m. We can't wait that long. We are in a race, kind of. We're in this competition where we need to keep moving. And now we're in a random village in Austria that has a population of like a few hundred people. Where are we? We don't know. So we can't take the train, so we figure we have to try another mode of transportation. So let's try to hitchhike, right? We've never tried hitchhiking before. Here we go. So I remember there was one other guy in the train station. So I approached him and I asked him where the nearest highway was. And his response was he laughed at me like, highway? And I don't even think he knew. He just gave us a direction. We started walking. I'm going to skip a few details here just for the sake of keeping the story short. But we ended up finding someone to give us a ride to the entrance of the highway, which ended up being miles away from the train station. So we get dropped off there, and now it's dark. Now it's probably 8 p.m., right? So it's 8 p.m. We start hitchhiking. We're in the, there's not even any lights around. There's just a road in the middle of a farm with an entrance to a highway. And we try waving some cars down. No one's stopping. There's like a car getting on the highway once every 5 minutes. And maybe a car that drives by once every 3 minutes, which is not very frequent. We're in the middle of friggin' nowhere. So we decide, okay, we see a traffic circle a little bit down the road and there's lights. So we walk over there and we try hitchhiking over there. And we're trying some pretty interesting approaches to hitchhiking. I'm dancing, I'm waving, I'm flashing my arms, I'm jumping in the road, like trying to show that we are friendly hitchhikers. Mind you, now it's around 9 p.m. So it's getting late, it's dark. Hitchhiking at night is never a good idea. But we were desperate, so we kept trying, and eventually the police show up and they were not very happy. Apparently someone called the police because our methods of trying to get people's attention were not very appreciated. Us dancing and waving our arms at cars that were driving by, apparently pretty distracting to drivers. So the police were not very happy with that. Hitchhiking was not illegal in this area, but the way we were doing it was not, they didn't like it. So they said if we wanted to do it, we'd have to go more into town. So we followed their instructions and we walked more into town. We were standing under the streetlight in front of a closed car dealership. I remember this. So we're standing there for a couple more hours. Now it's 10 p.m. and we said to ourselves, this train that we missed, well, the train in town, it leaves at 2:30. So if we don't get a ride by I think 11, we're going to try to start finding a ride back to the train station because we don't want to miss that train and it's far away. So we have to figure out a ride there or how to get back. I'm just like reliving these memories in my head. So we're standing on the side of the road. It's getting late. My shoes are wet because the grass was wet. So now like my socks are wet. It's just uncomfortable. Now we are not happy. We haven't eaten all day and we're just tired and defeated and we're just so sad. And I think 2 cars stopped this whole time and one of them said he wasn't going in the direction we wanted to go. Mind you, the place we wanted to hitchhike to was about an hour away. It wasn't our next checkpoint in this challenge because the whole challenge had different checkpoints. Anyway, it was just the next city. We figured getting to this next city would help us find transportation to our next checkpoint because we were in the middle of nowhere. We just wanted to get to a city with people and cars and trains or something so we could actually ask someone for a ride. And we failed. I think one car stopped and said he wasn't going in the same direction. The second car stopped. As we were walking up to it, he just drove away. Like, damn. So we felt defeated. We started walking into town and we were going to walk to the train station, but there was a McDonald's. So we walked inside the McDonald's. We sat down. Mind you, we have our travel backpacks and a case of Red Bull. So we just look weird. Like, this isn't a town that normally gets backpackers. So everybody in this restaurant is looking at us like, it looks like aliens just walked in. So our strategy was to find someone in that McDonald's to drive us to the train station. So there's a few couples sitting down. So we walk up to the couples and we find one couple who agrees to drive us to the train station when they're done eating. So we say, great, thank you so much. So we sit there and we just look sad, right? We're just sitting there in our defeat. And now it's like probably almost midnight. And one of the McDonald's employees walks over to us. And as he's walking over to us, you could see on his face, it's not a good feeling. It's not like oh, hey, how you doing? It's like, no, get out of here type of thing. So the first question, he looks at us and just goes, what are you doing? And we try explaining to him what we're doing. And we have these little cards that Red Bull gave us explaining the competition that makes it look more legit, right? So we're not just some crazy people saying, hey, we're traveling with Red Bull. Like, no, it's real, and you could look it up on the internet. So here you go. And I was trying to talk to him, and as I'm explaining the story, he just tells me to stop. He's like, no, let me read. So he's reading this card, right? And his face is looking at this card, and he's looking pretty stern. Like, he's a little angry. And he's looking at it, and he's reading, and he's going, and his face just changes and goes, this is awesome! And all of us, the 3 of us, just light up. We're like, really? You think this is cool? Okay, yeah, it's awesome, right? So we start talking to him, and he's asking us a million questions, and we start talking, and then he goes, I'll be right back. So he goes behind the counter again. I don't know, he disappears. This guy's name is Timo, and just to set the tone, he's like really eccentric, right? He's super excited. He's just a nice guy. And now Timo walks behind the counter, and the couple that offered to drive us to the train station is getting ready to leave. So they look at us and they kind of signal like, all right, let's go. So we start putting on our backpacks, and Timo walks out and he looks at us and he goes, where are you going? And we say, oh, we're going with them. And he looks at them and he says, where are you taking them? And they look a little nervous, and they look at us and they just go, oh, we're driving them to the train station. And he goes, no, they're with me now. And we're like, all right, Timo, we're with Timo now. He looks at us, he says, don't worry, I'll give you a ride to the train station when we close. We're closing right now, and I'll go get you some food. So we're sitting there like, great, this is kind of cool. We're going to get a ride to the train station, and we're going to get some food. Sweet. So he comes back a few minutes later, and he brings out a bunch of food for us. I've never been so excited to eat McDonald's in my life. I didn't eat anything all day. We traveled. It was crazy. For anyone who's just tuning in right now, this was during the Red Bull challenge back in 2016 where I traveled across Europe. with no money. That's why I'm talking like I don't have any money. Whoa. Anyway, Timo comes out with some food. We're eating. He disappears again. He comes back out. He's so excited. We're going over the challenges we have to complete, and he starts offering us to help us. And he he ends up getting so excited, and he was telling us, he's like, I wish I could drive you all the way to Paris, because that was our final destination. Meanwhile, we couldn't go to Paris because there's different checkpoints we had to hit, but he wasn't even really listening. He was the type of guy to ask a question and be so excited that he wasn't even listening to the answer, and he would just ask another question as we were answering it. So it was fun. It was just a good moment of excitement, and now we're getting kind of happy again. And then he goes, you know what? I want to help you. I will drive you 1 hour in any direction. And we're like, what? That's where we were just trying to hitchhike to. We stood on the side of the road for 5 hours, failed, miserable. We come to this McDonald's, and then this guy approaches us and offers to drive us where we want to go without us even asking. Like, what? Are you kidding me? This is crazy. So we're so happy. We're munching on fries and things of McDonald's that don't even exist in the United States. They have different food items there. It was really cool. Anyway, continuing the story, it's almost done. Hang with me. Timo comes back with one of his co-workers, right? This guy's name is Stefan. Stefan heard our story a little bit through Timo, which I'm sure Timo highly exaggerated our story. And we start telling our story to Stefan. And as we're telling him that this whole challenge we're explaining the challenge, how we started in Florence, we need to end in Paris, but before we go there, we have to stop at least 6 checkpoints on the way. And he asked us where our next checkpoint is, and we tell him it's in Innsbruck, and we didn't know where that was, and we weren't allowed to use our own internet. We didn't have our own phones, so he looks up on his phone, and it's 3.5 hours away from where we currently were in Spital, Austria, right? So he looks at us, he goes, I'll take you there. What? 3.5 hours away. We just met this guy 5 minutes ago. Don't even know. Barely even knew. I don't even think I knew his name at the time. And he says he'll take us there. 3.5 hours. So sure enough, they finished working. They closed the McDonald's. We went with Stefan to his home so he could change. He just worked a full shift, and he had work the next day. And him and his girlfriend, they drove us 3.5 hours through the middle of the night. We arrived at 5 a.m. in Innsbruck, and he dropped us off, turned around, and drove home. Like, what? What a nice freaking guy. Are you kidding me? Like, these are the type of things that I will cherish and remember forever. The kindness of these strangers to help us out like that was incredible. And these are the type of things that open my mind to want to travel more and do these things more. So yeah, that was long story long. That was a hitchhiking experience. And damn, thank you, Stefan and Timo. You guys are incredible. Wow, I'm tired. This coffee buzz is wearing off now. I'm trying to find some more questions. If anyone wants to join this this live stream, let me know, and I'll accept your video request. Malcolm, you still here? Join my live stream. Oh baby. I'm trying to find some new questions. Hold on. Oh no, I turned the camera around. Didn't mean to do that. How do I? No. I'm breaking things. Stop it. All right, cool. Ever consider bike packing? That's cool. Like driving on a motorbike? Yeah, I really want to do that in Vietnam. Vietnam is one of the famous places for travelers buying a bike and driving all along the country of Vietnam. I really want to do that in Vietnam. Would you want to be on my podcast? Sure. Love being on podcasts. Love being on podcasts. Love being on podcasts. All right, doing more of these question things. Da 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 da. Wow, I'm getting tired. I'm gonna end this actually. My brain is frying a little bit. So, thanks for joining my TED Talk. I hope you all are having a lovely day. I keep freaking turning this around. Oh, I did it 2 times. Yeah, guys. If you haven't seen my recent video from Sri Lanka, it's a pretty cool travel guide from the south, so maybe you will enjoy that. Oh, here we go. Didn't notice this. Tuk-a-tuk. What's the best tuk-tuk moment, tuk-tuk tournament moment for you, bro? So if you guys aren't familiar with the tuk-tuk tournament, this was a crazy, awesome, fun adventure organized by tuktukrental.com that I experienced last year. Fun time. And tuk-tuk was a fellow participant team. Let me think. Some of my best tuk-tuk moments, tuk-tuk tournament moments. Oh, yeah. Hey, we got Jedge up in here. What up? Thinking about... let me trace back. I think... probably the parties, to be honest. Like, hanging out with everyone and the feeling of being together with a big group. The mid-party was really fun. Also, getting invited into locals' homes. That happened a few times. And just that genuine, random, spontaneous travel experience where you're in someone's home. So one of the premises of the tuk-tuk tournament is there's challenges for you to complete, right? And there's daily challenges, and then there's challenges that you can only complete once. One of the daily challenges was getting invited to a local's home. And the traveling clat and I tried to do that every day, and there was some days where we just had such fun experiences. And honestly, in Sri Lanka, you could just walk up to pretty much anyone's home. And as a traveler, if you're friendly and wave and smile and you're curious, they will just welcome you in. It's so cool. That happened a few times. Those are like my favorite experiences. Just the engagement with the locals is just so fun. I was gonna end this, but we've got some more questions, so I'm gonna keep going. What was the most dangerous wild animal you've ever come across along the road in your trips? Probably wild elephants in Sri Lanka. Those things are freaking real, and they are not they're not like the cartoon characters that we see. They will do some damage. I'm trying to think of other dangerous animals. Probably some snakes here and there, but I've never really had any vicious encounters with animals. Yeah, nothing that comes to mind. Cheers from Maryland. Hey. All right, going back to these question tabs. All right, I'm sorry, guys, if I didn't answer your questions, but I'm going to end this stream now because I'm losing my enthusiasm a little bit, and I need to go edit more videos because my next video coming out is top 10 Sri Lanka travel destinations. And this might be my last Sri Lanka video for a little bit. I still have Colombia videos to edit because I was in Colombia in February. So I got to edit those videos. Oh, yeah. All right. I love you. You right now. I freaking love you. Thanks for being here. Go do something cool today. It doesn't have to be outside. Like, it could be virtually, digitally cool. Go just message someone right now and tell them that you're thinking about them. All right? Peace.